Archie Manning.
Well, it's been a wonderful program. It's been a long program. Aren't you glad you don't have to listen to 5 Mannings? I know what these guys are thinking. I know they're thinking, how long is he going to be? It's great to be in Louisville, Kentucky. It's a wonderful event. And I just can't thank you enough for all your wonderful hospitality. It's been so much fun last night. All these guys, the Hall of Famers, just one of the guys I played against in college, I played against in pro ball, respect, admire. Yeah, lots of stories, and we all get better as the years go on. That's the fun part. I played 3 years at Ole Miss and played against the University of Kentucky 3 times. A little good, a little bad, but it kind of surprises me still, amazes me actually, when I go back to Oxford, Mississippi, my alma mater, where I love, how they still make a big deal out of me. After it's been over 40 years since I played football there. Yeah, they retired my number, my jersey. And then a few years ago, they had a dilemma on campus. They couldn't decide what the speed limit should be, and they changed the speed limit to 18 miles an hour, which was my number at Ole Miss. Although I think there's a lot of, Eli was number 10 there, I think it's a lot of discussion right now about lowering it down to 10 miles an hour. I'm not sure about that. Speaking of that, Eli and his wife, Abby, their little girl, Ava, they have their home in Oxford, Mississippi. That's where they live, their off-season home. And when they built it a couple of years ago, Olivia and I went up to see them, wanted to see the new house, and it's a little cul-de-sac out by the Oxford Country Club there. It's about 6 or 7 pretty new homes there, a lot of kids in the neighborhood. And I was really impressed. Eli was ready for all the kids. He had a basketball goal in his driveway. I went through his garage there. He had balls and bats. And sure enough, Abby said they didn't disappoint. Every afternoon they came over and asked, could Eli come out and play? But while I was there, a little boy came to the door, and I let him in. He had his football. And I was told when he got back home, his dad said to him, so, did Eli sign your football? He said, yes, sir, he signed it. And then he handed it to some old man, and he signed it. I wanted to mention just a few people real briefly, and that really touched me. I congratulate all the Hall of Famers tonight, but it sure touched me with Johnny Unitas. He was my hero. You saw a picture there. It was a great evening for the Manning family when we came to Louisville a few years ago when Peyton received the Johnny Unitas Award. John was so nice to me when I was a young player in the National Football League, and he liked Peyton. That night, I remember, Peyton wore black high tops when he played at Tennessee, and Peyton had a big foot. He presented Johnny that night with kind of a new version of black high tops, size 14. And Johnny liked that. And he, excuse my language, Johnny told me, he said, I really like Peyton. He doesn't shine his ass. I also wanted to mention someone else tonight that was part of this community. It was a dear friend of mine. We lost him this past year, Vince Gibson. He used to coach here at Louisville. Vince, a dear friend of mine. We lost him to Lou Gehrig's disease. He lived in New Orleans the last 20-something years. He was a great friend. He loved this city. He loved the University of Louisville. He loved that racetrack y'all had out there, too. But Vince was a good friend. A few other people, Kay Collier McLaughlin, what a sweet lady. She's had this process has just been wonderful. I want to commend and thank Frank Menefield, the hard work that he's done, what he's done. Billy Reed, who became a friend years and years ago when he was working with Sports Illustrated and came to Ole Miss and did a story on me. And went to Drew, Mississippi, visited my mother, got to know Olivia. Saw Coach Buddy Ryan last night. What a special guy. I want to tell a quick story. Late in my career, I got traded to the Minnesota Vikings, and we had to go to Chicago to play that great Bear team that they had. One of the greatest defenses I ever saw. I was backing up Tommy Craver in Minnesota, and we went to play, and Tommy was hurt. At least he said he was hurt. And we had to go against that Bear defense. And a lot of people ask me from time to time, when seeing a football game, what's being said out there back and forth? And I'd heard something in that game I'd never heard before. they killed me. We weren't very good, the Vikings, that year. I got sacked 11 times that day by that Bear defense. But something was said to me late in the game I never heard before. The 10th time I got sacked, big defensive lineman named Dan Hampton, Hall of Famer. He knifes through, he gets me. And he weighs 310 pounds. He could throw me down, but he kind of grabs me from behind. He kind of holds me up. I'm sure it wasn't very long, but it seemed like a long time. And I'm telling this because a Louisville product, very good player named Otis Wilson. While he's home there, Otis Wilson just planted his headgear right up under my chin, split my chin wide open, and then just drove me into the ground. 5 or 6 more, just pile on top. I mean, we're getting beat 24-3. It's cold, it's damp, it's windy. They're killing us. I'm helpless. I'm on the bottom of this pile. I'm going to get up if they ever get off of me. But Otis said something to me I'd never heard. I'm on the bottom of the pile, my chin spewing blood. He's right in my face mask to face mask. He said, "Archie, these guys ain't blocking for you." He said, "You ought to just lay here and play like you hurt." I said, "Otis, I'm kind of thinking about it." I mentioned a couple more people. Tom Jackson, my good friend. There's a reason he's been, TV can be harder than football. It's cold and cruel. There's a reason 25 years he's been at ESPN and what he does, because he gets it. He gets it. He really tells it like it is. And I just wanted to say a special thing. I think quarterbacks, Tim, Chris, there's a little fraternity there. We've always had a little fraternity. And I love the game, and I love the former quarterbacks. I mentioned Johnny Unitas, and his quarterbacks was so nice to me when I was a young player in the league. But last night, for the first time in my life, I got to meet Babe Parilli, and that was a real thrill for me. 2 other people I just wanted to mention. Jeff Van Note, I played against him in Kentucky, but we played against each other. I don't know how. He was with Atlanta. I'm in New Orleans. We played him twice a year. And we got to play in a couple of Pro Bowls together. Special guy. And then last, Kentucky guy, played against him in college. 10 years, he was my teammate, the New Orleans Saints, Joe Fetterspell. And, I think this, to me, it really touched me tonight, and I think all these guys would agree. What football is all right is really all about was Ed and Mo tonight. I mean, that bond, that's really what it's about. And Fed and I, 10 years, we weren't very good. And didn't many of us hang around. We had coaches go, we had general managers go, we had players just going and coming. But 10 years we were together in a tough situation, and he was a great teammate. Now, we had another teammate, great friends of both of us, named Bobby Scott. Bobby was my backup quarterback, 12 years. He played at Tennessee, same year I did. He's my backup quarterback for 12 years, my roommate. But he and Fed were great friends because Fed came back to Lexington, Bobby went back to Knoxville, so their families always got an apartment at the same place. They were really good friends. I was fortunate to stay healthy most of the time, and there's so much talk going on now around the league about concussions and everything. Back then, we didn't really mention concussions very much. You kind of got dinged. Well, one day, we were playing the Eagles, Frank LeMaster. I got dinged. So I was over there, what they do with the little ammonia caps and everything, and Fed came out, they called me Booger Red. He said, "Booger, you going back in?" I said, "I'm trying to shake these cobwebs. I'm gonna try to go back in." We said, "You got to go in." Scotty's over there warming up. He's already thrown 3 interceptions. I just want to say what an honor it is to represent my family to receive this award. I want to thank the Blanton Collier Sportsmanship Group. I had the great fortune of knowing Coach Collier. John North, who was on that staff of his in Kentucky, was an assistant coach in New Orleans in 1973. He got to 74. Became the head coach, interim coach, and he brought Coach Collier down and spent a week with us to kind of get going. That was a fantastic week for me to be around him. So I knew what kind of coach he was, but also knew what he stood for. And I commend, it's such an honor for us to see this award. I also want to commend you for what you do to support the research for autism. Olivia and I have truly been blessed. We've been married 41 years. Our boys have given us so much joy. recently, after the last Super Bowl win, things had kind of settled down, and we're watching TV one night. Actually, the TV's on. We're both reading. We're not watching it, and something came on TV about Eli. And I closed my book, and I kind of looked at Olivia, and I said, 41 years. I played for the Saints. We were so bad, and you were always there for me. I said, in your wildest dreams, did you ever think I'd have two sons that were three-time MVP in the Super Bowls? And she said, actually, Archie, you're very seldom in my wildest dreams. I want to emphasize again what a great honor this is to represent my family tonight. I'd like to close with this. The success of our nation and the success of our society begins and ends with the success of our families. The Manning family is truly honored to receive this award. Thank you very much. God bless you.